Phoenix, and you're watching FeMetalTV. And we are hanging out with Jennifer Batten today, and she is here playing guitar for us at Joe's Grotto. So we're so happy that you could be here today. Thank you so much.
It's a good place to be in the winter. I live in Portland, Oregon, so I'm missing all the rain and whatever possible snow.
Nice. And you know, this is actually kind of cool for us right now. We just came off of a big heat wave that
good time.
broke a ton of records in February.
Really?
Isn't that kind of crazy for Arizona? But yeah, we were pretty warm in February. So the first question I want to ask you is that when you picked up your first guitar at 8, did you have any idea as you were learning and playing that someday you would be playing the Super Bowl for a million and a half people?
No, that never crossed my mind. Playing with Michael Jackson or Jeff Beck never crossed my mind. No, it was all surprises on the adventure of life.
Many times in the press, your name's associated with Michael Jackson, all the tours that you did with him. Do you consider that to be your biggest accomplishment as a musician?
As a musician, no, that would be Jeff Beck. It's just a whole different bag. With Michael, it's the biggest tour in the world, the biggest pop star ever in history. But musically, Jeff's stuff was a lot more difficult. Where Michael would want it the same every night, same order, because it was costume changes and pyro and everything. And everybody knew every nuance of all the songs because they were all top 10 hits. Jeff was a whole other thing, and he would want it different every night. He'd want to have us throw him surprises and fire him up and take it to different places. So it was kind of cool to have two of the coolest gigs in the world that were completely opposite.
Nice. If you could say something to Michael, if you could talk to him today, what would you say to him?
How is it over there?
Nice one. I think we all like to hear that answer.
Speed it up.
Should you speed it up?
Yeah.
You play a lot of different styles of music: rock, metal, fusion, funk. What's your favorite?
You know, I have a really hard time nailing genres. It's just, to me, it's just music. You know, I like world beat, I like electronica. You know, this is whatever comes out. I don't give it a lot of thought. You know?
Your CDs are very diversified. How do you feel that your 3 solo CDs display the evolution of you as a musician?
There's huge differences. The first one was kind of like trying to make my mark, putting Flight of the Bumblebee in there, so I could maybe get in the boys club, because there wasn't a lot of females at that time. In fact, it's probably in the last 5 years there's been a huge influx of female guitar players. And I did a huge variety of music. I did Giant Steps, which is a jazz tune, and some metals, Flight of the Bumblebee, classical, and the second record was more world beat. I really like that. A lot of stuff on Peter Gabriel's Real World label is really interesting to me. And the third record, I wrote most of that stuff for Jeff Beck, and it's when he was getting into electronica. So I learned how he was recording. I got a Pro Tools, my first Pro Tools system, and learned how to do that digital editing and stuff. So it's completely 3 different records.
And through them, you feel that you've evolved, because you've evolved as a musician from where you started to now everything that you encompass now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty typical for people that your first record has a whole lot more ego than your current record as time goes by. You know, you're trying to prove yourself, get your name out there, and as time goes by, it's like you're trying to make music have more meaning and more emotional content.
Yeah, I loved the second album. I like all of it, but I really like the tribal and the encompassment of so much world music.
Yeah.
That I don't think I think you have to reach out to find it, and I don't think a lot of musicians display it. So you kind of got to reach out and find that, and I really like that.
I think I cut my teeth on Tarzan movies. That's where I got into world beat. Those African drums, that kind of thing, just took me to a different place on Sunday afternoons. And then one of my favorite bands of all time is Weather Report, and that was very, very world beat oriented stuff.
What do you think? I noticed that. Okay, so the second album is more world beat. The third album now you've incorporated film into, and you're doing a one-woman show that's supporting this album. So we got to ask the question: where's album 4 gonna take you?
You know what? The wind has been taken out of my sails with the internet because people can steal music. So I have no interest in putting 10, 15 grand into a record and just having it go into the abyss and have everybody get it for free. So I'm sure I'll do another record eventually, but I'm not in a hurry. I spend my time working on shows, on films, on stuff for tours, and doing instructional stuff. And I also put together a tour last summer. I went around America doing a thing I call the Self-Empowerment for the Modern Musician seminar. And that's a 4-hour, really intense thing that's kind of a holistic view of what it takes to have a musician's life. So it's not just the best ways to learn music and how the brain works, but what you put in your body, including your mind, what you let in there. For instance, if you watch the 11 o'clock news at night and wonder why you're depressed in the morning,
that's why.
Because of what you're allowing in your brain. So I get into all these different subjects, real intense stuff, and so I'm still, I just launched it last summer, and I hope to have it streamable at some point. But I've been so busy on the road. Plus, I got a new knee this winter. I was just flat out recovery mode.
So bionic now.
I'm totally bionic.
Got some bionics going on.
Yeah, I get my own airport entrance with all the other bionics.
As a woman, and I think for our closing question, I want to ask you, as a woman coming up through the ranks, and you talked about how it was more difficult. What would you do differently? Would you do anything differently? And what would you recommend for female guitarists that are up and coming?
What comes to mind is I would probably try harder to get in the boys' club, in that I think I was a bit intimidated, so I didn't ask questions. I was just kind of a home woodshedder. I went to Musicians Institute, and that kicked my ass. I was the only girl with 60 guys. And then after that, it was self-taught in that I would learn stuff on records. I knew how to transcribe and that kind of stuff, but I didn't have a lot of interaction with other guitar players. So that's something I would do. Gear talk and tone talk. I was more of a closet player, honestly.
Great. Well, thank you so very much for your time, and thank you for hanging out with us here on FeMetalTV.
Well, thanks for having FeMetalTV.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, you guys stay tuned, and we'll see you next on FeMetalTV.